Oh scheisse, we just got our first look at the campaign map for Total War Warhammer 3. We start off by looking at some Kislev Lands and Kislev itself with Tsarina Catherine nearby. And needless to say, it's changed quite a bit from the region that we know in Warhammer 1 and 2. It certainly looks much bigger and a different shape, so it's going to be exciting to properly see the new landscape when we get to play it. But from this video we can kind of get an idea of where some starting positions are. We just saw Kislev there and we're traveling on our way here over towards Kostaltin. And you'll notice in a second that there's an ocean that kind of comes to a point with a city right at the point. That appears to be the Gulf of Kislev and Erengrad. I'm going to assume there it is. Erengrad, the city kind of at the point of the ocean, opens out into the ocean, and then we see on the coast Kostaltin, assumedly at his start position. And this kind of gives us an idea if we use this old campaign map that was on one of the promo posters, which is kind of covered up by these goddamn symbols, but it looks like he's going to be somewhere around here on the coast of the Gulf of Kislev, which we can see written just there. That's that little bit of ocean we saw just now. So Kostaltin somewhere under here, and then Catherine also probably somewhere under here, a little bit farther east maybe, perhaps a little bit to the south as well. And as the camera travels through the Kislev Lands, we'll also notice a couple of other things. One thing you may pick up on. We see a big cornboy coming down there, but we see Helpit, the Skaven city of Helpit just on the left there, and now it's gone. We move over to Prague, to the right of that, to the east. So that feels kind of familiar, right, to Warhammer 2 and how the map is. You got Helpit up north along the mountains, and then down south and east a bit, you've got Prague there for Kislev. So kind of in a similar position. The big bloodthirster boy coming for that, it seems. So we get an idea of some Kislev starting positions there, and it moves us over to the Ogre Kingdoms area, the Mountains of Morn, where the big boys will be chilling. So this again should give us a rough idea of some start positions, although kind of predictable that they were going to be here. Although maybe they're not. Maybe Greasus will start here in the Mountains of Morn, and maybe Scrag will be somewhere else. The same with Kostaltin. He might not be there on the coast where we looked at him just now. He could be somewhere else. So this video isn't necessarily telling us start positions, but feels like it could be. So naturally, a very mountainous region for the Ogre Kingdoms. Whether it's going to be a nightmare to move through is another question, because very often in mountainous regions, your movement range is reduced. So maybe the Ogres won't suffer from that, but if you're another faction trying to come in and take their stuff, it could be a bit of a struggle. Like trying to move through greenskins or dwarf mountains can be a bit of a pain in the ass. Also, if you're a faction that can't use the underway, this area probably could be a bit of a struggle, because it is a lot of kind of long passageways and choke points are plenty, so could be a difficult region to move through if you're not playing as ogres. There we see Greasus. That could well be his starting position there, or it could just be a camp. Looks kind of campy there, the little settlement he's next to. Not really sure what kind of enemies to expect around here. For Kislev, you've obviously got the Chaos to the north and Norskans to the north, and then Empire and stuff to the south, maybe some vampires. But over here, I'm not really sure what kind of enemies might be around. Some dwarfs perhaps, or greenskins, as there is mountainous regions. Perhaps in the future we might see some Chaos Dwarfs, dare I say. You do have that volcano. I'm sure there's some forging to be done around there. We see Scrag there as well. Perhaps that's his starting position, but again, could just be next to a camp. Maybe he's somewhere else. Maybe Greasus is somewhere else. We shall have to wait and see. So that's pretty much it for the Ogre Kingdoms area. Looks pretty cool though. It looks kind of Three Kingdom-ish also, which leads us nicely to the next area, which is the Grand Cathay part of the map, which is of course very Three Kingdoms-ish if you've played Three Kingdoms. Got those Chinese kind of environment vibes. Looks very nice. And this area is bordering the Mountains of Morn somewhat, so going to have ogres to the south. Other than that, it's kind of in the corner, so it's a nice starting position. You're out the way of most of the map, tucked away in the corner for the most part are Cathay. There is going to be Tzeentch around here, I'm sure I've read somewhere, but that could mean there's a bit of Cathay civil war going on between all the different Cathay factions in this area, and you'll have to fight to take control of the whole area before spreading out more perhaps. But it does say that Zhao Ming will be defending the south from the Ogres and the Skaven, so going to be some Skaven around this area in the mountains as well. But again, visually this looks really nice. Look at it. I want to go there. It looks so nice. I just want to go and hang out. I don't want to go to war. I don't want to play the game. I just want to go there. Take me now. Looks like a nice mixture of landscapes going on though. You've got the kind of jungly areas, the more desert-y areas, the grassland. It's all a nice mixture. You've got some rivers running through there, mountains around. And then we see the big Great Wall. We see keeping all the chaos out. And in the sky we've got the Celestial City, where those dragony god type folk apparently hang out. And we can see the nice contrast here in the lands, the nice green Cathay lands on one side of the wall, and then utter chaos and death on the other. Looks great overall. Hopefully we get some nice battle maps out of this as well. There should be some nice areas to make some pretty sweet looking battle maps. We see a Nurgle demon coming over there. We saw a Khorne demon just now, so even though I said Tzeentch is apparently going to start over here, we are seeing mixed messages going on, so who knows? Maybe all Chaos Gods are just going to start right outside Cathay. Good luck, Cathay. And then tucked away in the corner here, we've got the city where Miao Ying is going to reside, or where she's supposed to be working from home or whatever. So a possible idea of start positions there for both Miao Ying and Zhao Ming. This kind of makes me want to play Cathay, even though they weren't really high up on my list of factions to play first. Cathay just jumped up a bit just because of how nice their landscape is. Looks awesome. So there we go. We see a lot of campaign stuff for Warhammer 3. Finally, it's nice to actually see some campaign footage, even if we're not really learning too much yet, other than what we can attempt to figure out. But the Kislev Lands also looking really nice here. I still think Kislev are going to be the first faction I play personally. But hey, maybe I'll play Cathay a little sooner than I originally intended. But it's really looking nice. I look forward to seeing where everybody starts to get an idea of how this campaign map is really shaping up. And of course, further down the line, we're going to have Warhammer 2 coming into this game. So we're going to have the Mortal Empires campaign map, which is going to include all of this new extra stuff, although I guess there isn't really that much more, because a lot of it is the same area that we had in Warhammer 2 in that bottom left. It's the Empire area, it's the Kislev area. It's just been a bit reworked. Some of the mountains we already had, but they've just been expanded. The whole Cathay area is new, of course, and the stuff to the north is new. But still, I'm sure it's going to be a pretty gargantuan campaign map for the Mortal Empires Warhammer 3 whenever it does come along. I'm going to guess maybe 4 to 6 months after the base game releases, so maybe the middle of next year we'll see that perhaps. But I think that's fine. That's good with me. I've had enough of all the Warhammer 2 factions for a while, right? We've been playing them for 4 years. Let's have a break from them. We've got 7 new factions to mess with. There's going to be plenty to do for the next 4 to 6 months for sure. The other big question we can ask is, what are the ultimate campaign goals? What is it going to be? What's the idea? What's the story and the narrative? In Warhammer 2, we had the whole Vortex campaign thing, which I don't think many people were huge fans of. Most people preferred Mortal Empires. But it's a fair assessment to say that it's going to have something to do with these 4 Chaos Realms that we see at the top of the campaign map. We're probably going to be visiting each one, maybe to take something over or to take something from them to bring back, and maybe we have to get one from each of those. So you have to go to the 4 Chaos Realms and then do something, perhaps. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see, but it's looking good. I'm excited to see how the campaign map really feels with all the new factions and how they all interact with each other and where the kind of strong areas and weaker areas of the map are. Which factions become the new Grimgor or Karazakarak that take over half the map and gain 50 settlements in 8 turns? Or are we going to see the Order Tide take over the entire map every campaign? Are we going to see the Chaos? Are they going to be the dominant force that always takes the map? Maybe the Ogres are coming. Maybe it's going to be an Ogre Tide. That sounds more fun than the Order Tide anyway. We'll have to see. But there we go. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the future.